Okay, so this is review number 3, and it's a long division problem. So before we actually do the long division, I wanted to refresh long division like from, I don't know, 5th grade or whatever it is that you learn in 4th grade, something like that. Okay, so if I had to do this using long division, remember the 3157 goes under that division symbol, and then the 4 goes on the outside. And then you figure out, well, does 4 go into 3? No. So let's look at, does 4 go into 31? It goes in 7 times. And then you do 7 times 4 and you get 28. And then you subtract the 28. And so 31 minus 28 gets you 3. And then you bring the 5 down. So then you say, well, how many times does 4 go into 35? 8. And so 8 times 4 is 32. And then you subtract the 32. So we get 3 here. And then you bring the 7 down. So then we say, well, how many times does 4 go into 37? 9 times. So 9 times 4 is 36. And then you have a 1. And there are 2 things you can do with the 1. Sometimes people say remainder 1. But really, what's left over is 1/4. Right? So you could say it's 789 and 1/4. What I'm going to do is 789 and 1/4 is exactly the same thing as 789 plus the 1/4 that's left over. So that's your answer there. That's the way that we're going to do long division with the polynomials. So let's set that up. The first term goes underneath x cubed minus 3x squared minus x minus 10. By the way, if there was no x here, if that didn't exist, you would put 0x here. You would need that there because otherwise you're going to run into some issues as you do the long division. So don't forget the 0 if there's a term missing. Just like in synthetic division, which we did last semester, if you were missing a term, you had to include the 0. Okay, then on the outside, I've got x squared plus 3x minus 1. Now, the way to figure out what goes first is you're really only looking at the first terms here. So what do you need to multiply x squared by to get x cubed? And so that's going to be x. And so just like over here when I put the first 7 down and we did 7 times 4 equals 28, we're going to do x times this thing equals, let's see, x cubed, and then plus 3x squared, and then minus x. Wow, that's pretty convenient. Okay, so then I want to subtract this one from the one that's above it. And if I do that, I've got x cubed minus x cubed, so that's 0. That goes away. And then I've got negative 3x squared minus 3x squared. So that'll be negative 6x squared. Don't forget you're subtracting. So it's negative 3 minus 3. And then the next one is negative x minus negative x. So that's negative x plus x, which is plus 0x. Just like that. Okay, so then after we subtracted, we brought down the next number. So I'm going to bring down the minus 10. So I'll switch colors here. Let's use green. So then the question is, what do I multiply x squared by to get negative 6x squared? And well, that's a negative 6. So I'm going to put minus 6 up there. And then I'm going to multiply the negative 6 by everything over here. So it becomes negative 6x squared. And then negative 6 times 3x will be minus 18x. And then negative 6 times negative 1 is going to be plus 6. And then if I subtract the second one from the first one, I've got negative 6x squared minus negative 6x squared, so that becomes plus 6x squared, and those cancel, which is what you want every time. If they don't cancel, you didn't pick the right number. And then I've got 0 minus negative 18x, which is really 18x. And then negative 10 minus 6, so negative 16. Now, once you get to the units here, there's nothing left to do. I'm not going to multiply. I'm not going to add in something else here. So this is my remainder. And just like we had a remainder over here of 1 over 4, and I just added it on at the end, that's what we're going to do with this guy. I'm going to do this number divided by the, whoa, that didn't show up in the right place, divided by that number, right? So it's 18x minus 16 over that. So plus 18 18x minus 16 over x squared plus 3x minus 1. So typically you'd want to write your answer over on the side somewhere so it's a little cleaner. X minus 6 plus 18x minus 16 all over x squared minus 3, plus 3x minus 1. And that is what this equals. Okay, hope that helps a little bit.